Today, in our Rightsizing resource series, I am joined with Mike Bascom of Bascom Law, elder law, estates, and trusts, all of those things. And these conversations are really designed to provide you with the information that you need when you're downsizing or rightsizing, and when it's helpful to bring in the right expert. So let's get started. So, Mike, for someone who's never heard of you or what you do, how would you describe how you could help someone most?
Well, thanks, Kanani. I'm happy to answer these questions for you. As an estate planning and elder law attorney, one of the things that we help people do is think through three phases of their life. The first is they're alive and capable of making their own decisions. The second phase is they're maybe unable to make their own decisions. They need someone else to help them. And then the third phase is when they've passed away, what do they want to have happen? And our goal is to help make sure that the client's wishes get put down in writing and that their helpers, the people who are going to carry out their instructions, know what to do. So it's a perfect time as people are downsizing to make sure that all of the paperwork is put in place, because if it's not in writing, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, that's great. I loved how you broke it down into those three phases. That's a really interesting way to think about it. And you kind of answered my second question, which is how do you see the services that you offer fit into right sizing or downsizing?
Well, this is a perfect time to look at the person's estate plan. Now, whether you have an estate plan or you don't. If you don't have one, it's a perfect time to put one in place. If you do have one, it's a perfect time to review it to make sure it's current. One of the simplest things to do is if you do have an estate plan, you might want to go back to your estate planning attorney who helped you put it in place. That's probably the least expensive way to do it. If they've retired or you've moved or your situation's changed where they're not capable of helping you, or you think you can do something a little bit better, it's a wonderful time to put your estate plan in place. Now, one of the reasons why I say that is because if you're downsizing, frequently it's because you may realize you're starting to transition from that phase one to that phase two we talked about. Another way of saying it politely is your mental health going to be better 2 years from now than it is today? Likely not. So you probably want to address it now as opposed to waiting for a few years. And again, there's nothing like the present to address such important matters, because really the goal is to make sure your wishes are put in place as opposed to allowing the default rules that are set by law and the state control what's going to happen to your situation.
Yeah. And you are leading right into my next question. This is working out perfectly. When do people typically reach out to you, and when do you wish they would have called you sooner?
Well, frankly, what usually triggers it, someone has had a health emergency, or there's usually a friend or family member that's had a health emergency. Generally, that's what triggers it. Oftentimes, people have a nagging feeling in the back of their mind, like, oh, yeah, I need to get this updated, need to get it updated. But what usually pushes them is there's been some health emergency around them. And that's kind of a wake up call for all of us, right? Similar, we all know we're supposed to lose weight, right? But until someone around us has one of those issues, we typically keep putting it off. So again, it doesn't have to be tied to a health issue, but it frequently is. Sometimes we'll have people say, "Oh, I'm worried. I'm going to be going out of the country. I need to get something put in place." Now, statistically, you're probably safer on an airplane than you are driving down Georgia 400, but that's fine. If you need to have something to shoot for, if you got a benchmark, you have a timeline, absolutely, it's great to get something put in place. And again, there's no time like the present. And back to the whole issue of, if you are not quite sure, do you think you're going to be in a better mental and physical condition in 2 years from now? If not, now's probably the time to get it done.
Yeah, that's great. What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about using your services?
Well, there's a couple. One is, hey, I've got everything covered. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to have it reviewed. I think it's a good idea to have it reviewed. Even if you think you've got it all done, why not have a qualified professional take another look at it just to make sure that everything is as it should be? A second misconception is, the kids will never fight. Now, I wish that's true. But things that you think people are not going to argue over, Unfortunately, we see those blow families apart. And
Mhm.
it's not usually the big money, it's usually over little things, the sentimental things. So have a thought through plan, and your estate planning attorney can guide you through that so that you can reduce the number of arguments or at least try to minimize them. So those are kind of two big things that I would suggest.
Okay, great advice. If someone hires you, what does that process usually look like? How does it start?
Well, it starts with a phone call. You call our office. Number one, let's make sure that we can even help you. Sometimes we have calls from people who are outside the state of Georgia. Unfortunately, we can't help those people. Or they've got a great estate plan in place already. It makes sense that they should go to their current estate planning attorney to have it reviewed. It's going to be less expensive than coming to a new firm. But for us, when someone contacts, we make sure that they are going to be someone that we can help. And then it's a matter of starting to gather information and helping prospective clients get organized is a big piece. And so we'll send a form to them that allows them to start to collect information that may be needed so that we can then have the next step, which is going to be a conversation to see if what they're looking for is something that we can help them with. And if it is, then they'll meet with one of the attorneys. We'll go through their existing estate plan, if there's any gaps that need to be filled, and design out what an estate plan should look like. And literally walk clients through, hey, you're healthy now. If you become incapacitated, what do you want to have happen when you pass away? And answer the questions of how you want your assets to flow, but also who should be making decisions for you at certain phases. And equally important, who do you not want to have involved at certain phases, and make sure that's all put in writing so that your wishes are actually carried out.
Perfect. And actually, when people are downsizing, they are going through some of those files that have been, in a basement or in an office for 10 or 15 years. So it's probably a good, good idea to meet with you or have that phone call and get that list. So as they're cleaning out, they're starting to uncover some of the documents they may need. So that is good. And now we're switching gears a little. What are some of the biggest emotional or logistical challenges you see people facing at this stage, this downsizing stage of life?
Yeah, now's the time to start to simplify things. And that can be hard. And I'm thinking about some of the paper. People tend to accumulate paper. And I will tell you that if you don't sort through it, if you don't take a look at it, what's going to happen when you pass is the kids are going to pull a garbage dumpster up and it's just going to get shoveled away
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
So the old receipt that you kept from a lunch dinner 20 years ago, you don't need to keep that anymore, right? Tax returns that are more than 15 years old, don't keep those. And if you're unsure of what to throw away, you can talk with your attorneys. They'll guide you through what you should keep and what you should throw away. But this is a perfect time to downsize. Now, I want to throw a caution out there. Don't just invite the grandkids over and say, hey, take whatever you want because I'm trying to thin stuff down. That's going to cause some fights. So don't do it that way because you're always going to have the one grandchild who doesn't speak up because they don't want to look like they're greedy. And you're going to have the other grandchild who's going to say, I'll take this, 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 and this. And they'll put yellow stickers on every item to make sure that it goes to them. Now, I'm facetiously saying grandkids, but it could be kids, it could be daughter-in-law, son-in-law, it could be your cousin. If you're going to dispose of items that there may be a little bit of feelings towards, a family heirloom item, talk through a plan with your estate planning attorney and then document what you've done. So it's perfectly fine for you to get rid of stuff so that your family can enjoy it. You've had wonderful joy and memories associated with certain items. It's wonderful to be able to pass those on. But if you're not quite ready yet, don't feel like you're forced to give it up. Okay, so hang on to the things that mean something to you, but also take a hard look. Do you really want this? And if you're going to be downsizing, this is a perfect time to simplify. And that's the phrase I like to use. This is a great time to clarify and simplify your life. So
Yes.
from a paper standpoint, it's great. When you're doing an estate plan, you're also going to be looking at your assets. And it may be an appropriate time for you to simplify by reducing the number of banks you deal with, the number of accounts you have, and your attorney can guide you through that process as well.
Very good. Yeah, and that actually might be the answer to the next question, which what is one small thing that someone can do today to help make this process smoother? and easier later.
Well, I think organizing is a great thing. So I would choose a book or a binder or a drawer and start to put all of your important papers there. Start to collect all that stuff together, right? If something were to happen to you, can your loved ones step in immediately and handle things for you? And if you've started to collect things, then it's going to make it easier for you. And simple things like maybe a bank statement, right? We don't think about that very often. Right now, everything's electronic. So if someone has your phone and it's facial recognition, how are they going to know which bank you're using? But if you kept a paper copy of a bank statement, you just slipped it into a drawer or a folder, and everyone knows that it's going to be in such and such a place. Now, in our practice, we like to use a green binder. It's a big 3-ring binder, and you can put everything in the green book. And we jokingly call it the green book. Technically, it's an estate planning portfolio, but it's a way for you to start to make sure that things are collected. Uh, if everyone knows who the pest control company is as well. If you got a copy of that paperwork in there, ordinarily you wouldn't think of that as part of your estate plan, but if it's in there, then when mom or dad pass away and someone shows up at the door, we know they're the right person or not if that kind of information has been collected. Usernames, passwords, the things that we don't typically think of, that needs to be collected as well. Again, going back to facial recognition or your fingerprint being used to open your phone and everything's now electronically delivered, got to think outside the box a little bit. How can someone step in and carry on my life, carry on my wishes if I'm not there? So that first step of gathering the paperwork, putting it in one place, I think is a very key step, and I would encourage everyone to do that.
Yeah, I love that. The green book. I think
Mhm.
yeah, that's a great visual. And I know I work with a lot of clients who they're either sons or daughters of someone who's passed and they're out of state and they come in for a weekend and try to make sense of everything that is left in a house that somebody may have lived in for 25 years. And had they had a green book, that would make things a lot simpler, but often that's not the case. So that is great. A great idea. And that's really it. Is there anything else that you want to share that you think is important for someone who is considering downsizing or right sizing?
If you're considering it, it probably means it's a good idea for you. We like to hold on to old memories. We like to hold on to old life. But if you know you're going to end up transitioning to a smaller place, there's probably no time like the present to do it. Because then when you go there, you're going to be able to enjoy it. You're going to be able to make connections with the people around you, as opposed to if you have to figuratively be drugged there because you no longer can stay in your nice place where you are and you don't have any say so over where you're going to go. That's going to feel really awkward. You're not going to be able to take advantage of what's there. There are a lot of wonderful places that are out there.
Yeah.
And in my career, I've seen communities spring up. I've seen different options that are out there. Talk with your real estate professionals. They know these places. They know what's going to fit your lifestyle. Don't be afraid to ask them. I mean, that's what they're there for. And they can help smooth that transition. Having people who care about you and want to make sure that you're in a comfortable place and doing that earlier rather than later, I think is a really sound move on your part.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your time this morning. This is going to be very helpful for our clients and potential clients, and so we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Kanani. I'm glad I could be on.